So, your 60-year-old car with original paint looks pretty decent from about 50 feet, but you get close and it doesn't look as good anymore. Well, if you want to get that cleaned up, you've come to the right place. You're watching Lambvinskis Garage. Let's get it. So, as I just said, this thing from a distance looks pretty good. It doesn't look that bad. Well, until you get to the other side, then it's kind of ugly. But I'm going to show you how to clean this thing up with some real simple and cheap ways. I know, I need to fix this fender, but that's not really a priority right now. Anyways, let's look at what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is all this little surface rust that's just kind of poking through here and there. Some of you would call it patina. I would call it patina, but you know, it could look better, especially up on this white top where it's kind of poking through around the window. Let's see what we got and let's clean this thing up. What I have right here is some really simple and cheap stuff that, you know, really any car guy should have. This is quadruple aught steel wool. That's four zeros, quadruple aught. It's really soft. It falls apart easily, but it's not really going to hurt our paint and it's not going to scratch it up. Here I have Scotch-Brite pads. These are cheap also, and they're going to go with the more heavy stuff. So there's stuff down the body that I'll show you, some paint where the previous owner had painted over some damage and stuff. But we also have chrome polish and rust remover. It's not the same as what the 40s Germans did, but it works just as good. And we have apple cider vinegar. This stuff etches into the rust and really gets rid of it. It's pretty nice. And we've got a cleanup towel, and we've got a little bit of water to wipe away what we need to do. But anyways, let's quit gabbing and see what we can do for this. Now just know, this is not a permanent solution. If you're like me, I just want to put some lipstick on the pig because I don't really like how this looks. I think first off, we're going to start with the chrome polish with the quadruple aught. And I've always had good luck with that, mostly on chrome itself, but you got to remember to shake this stuff. It settles pretty easily. Make sure you got that lid on or it's going to go everywhere. So we got that shook up. We're just going to dab a little bit on here, just like so. And then I'm going to start just lightly rubbing this and see if we can get that rust to go away. Now this is going to require an exuberant amount of elbow grease, but you know what? I've got nothing better to do, so I'm just gonna clean this up while I can. And see, that looks quite a bit better already. But we've got almost a whole car to do, and it's gonna take me a while, but that's all right. Now, a real key to this is going to be not rubbing too hard, because I will be able to rub through this thin paint. And, you know, the paint in the 60s was not that good anyways. But we can make it look better, believe me. I'm going to do the passenger side of this, and then we'll do a little compare and contrast. Now that looks quite a bit better, right? Yeah, it's burned through here, but it was burned through for that rust to come through anyways. But it looks better than that wrong color out there. So let's stand back and take a look at what I've done. Now it's probably going to look better on camera than it does to me. But man, that's way better, isn't it? It's a pretty solid start, and you know, that's taken me all of about 15 minutes or so, But I've got a long way to go. This thing's 2 counties long. It's a pretty big car. And I've got stuff to do in the interior. I will show you that as well. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, but my other piece of Scotch-Brite, or not Scotch-Brite, my steel wool was falling apart quite well. So, I found this Brillo pad. These are literally what they are. They're Brillo, and they're quadruple-aught steel wool, and they've also got some soap in them. We'll dunk this in the water, and then we'll do the same thing. But these are actually used for, like, cleaning your dishes. So, your wife's not going to notice if you just sneak a couple of these. Trust me, I'm a professional. You know what? I think this is actually working better than the chrome polish stuff too. And we're washing the car, but you know, I already washed this before I started the video. It's looking better. No.
Oh, you're getting rid of the
Yeah.
rust.
Yes. See, it was like this, like all the way across.
Yeah, looks a lot better without
So,
it. Can you wax it after that?
I could.
Well, I would, and then you don't have to do it every time.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll wax it with. I don't really want to wax the whole car right now. Now this whole area right here is about the worst spot on the car. Well, and down here on the fender, it's really bad. But that's beside the point. We're looking at this right now. I'm just going to use that Brillo pad because this is just kind of ugly, and there's streaks from, you know, grease and stuff from actually having to work on this thing because it's, you know, old. But anyways, let's see what the Brillo does. It should do all right. Especially for just pulling that right off of there. The other stuff I've used before is CLR. It's calcium, lime, and rust remover. You put it down your pipes generally, but it works really, really good in this application as well. So, you know, look at that. That is about way, way better. And like I said before, I don't really want to burn through the paint, but if you look close, she's burning through the paint anyways in a lot of spots. So let's hose this off. Now to me that looks quite a bit better. To you, maybe not, but believe me, it looks better. As good as used, I'd say. There's spots all over this top that are like this. And, you know, it really stands out, and it really bothers me. And that's kind of strange, because I generally don't care. But, you know, this time I do. I actually like this car. See, now with just a little bit of scrubbing with this quadruple-aught steel wool and that chrome polish, that looks, you know, at least 65, 70, maybe even 80% better. That's just not very bad. But anyways, it's starting to rain, so I'm just gonna kind of run through this and I'll show you guys the finished product. I'll walk around it real quick, show you what I'm working with, and then yeah. pretty much finished this side, and doesn't that look about 100% better? I've still got the other side to do, but my Scotch-Brite, or not my Scotch-Brite, dang, I keep saying that. My steel wool has ran its course, so I went and found another chunk, and yeah, it's good and used, but it's better than what I had. You know, I have got to say, this looks so much better than I had actually planned on it. I mean, look at that. All of that crappy looking rust is gone. Yeah, I need to seal it with something or it's going to come back, but it looks way, way better. You know, I'm thinking this car is worthy of a repaint one of these days, but, you know, then you lose the originality. What do you think? Should I paint it? Should I leave it alone? Should I just drive it? Well, that's my biggest plan. But, see, we'll go along here. And it just looks so much better. But there's one more spot that you probably saw mere moments ago that I want to touch up. Now, somebody tried to patch up this paint with some, you know, it looks like house paint or something. But, you know, I've encountered this before, or at least similar, and I'm just going to be using our Scotch-Brite pads and some water and see if I can break that down, because, man, the color just doesn't look right, and I can't stand it. Oh boy, this might be a little easier said than done. Well, I mean, it's starting to come. Man, that is, you know, a little bit worse than I thought it'd be. Huh. Well, you know, I think I might just give up on that for now until I figure out something later. So for now, I'm thinking we'll just leave that alone, and let's go inside and I'll show you what I'm talking about in the interior. You know, I really should say what this is. This is my 1966 Dodge Monaco 500. Bucket seats, console shift, all that really cool stuff. Telescoping and tilting steering wheel. If you haven't watched us before, go watch the video where we got this car and got it back and got it running. Oh man, there was some really cool stuff at that place. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about. This rust in here on this stainless that goes all the way around the car. And the back, I think, is pretty hopeless, but we can certainly clean all that up and make it look at least 10% better. But anyways, I don't know how I'm going to set you guys up in here. It's kind of, you know, I'm a big boy, so it's kind of cramped. But for a camera, I fit in here great. But with a camera and me, it's a little harder to do. Now for this one, I'm just going to break out the Fancy Pants camera because, well, you know, that makes it a little easier. But we're still going to be using the same method of the chrome polish and the steel wool, and it should clean this up really well, or at least better. Now, while not perfect, that does look way better. I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to continue on with the rest of the inside of this car, and I'll pick you guys back up later. Now this little girl looks pretty sharp. It looks way better than it did. But anyways, we've got really crappy weather coming, so let's get this back up to the museum and wrap this up. This little girl runs and drives pretty well, but with you over there in passenger mode, you'll get to go for a bit of a ride. Or not. That's going to be one of our next videos. Getting that carburetor sorted out, because that is annoying. If you haven't watched the channel before, the museum is the place where we keep all of our overflow, I guess you could say. But it's a 60 by 100 building where we got a lot of other cool stuff that you don't get to see very often. We'll give you a little tour when we get there. How's that sound? And before you yell at me, this car doesn't have seat belts, so I didn't have an option to put it on. That being said, I do want seat belts because I don't like driving a car without them. It's, I don't feel very safe. There's Mike. You know, almost everything in this car works. The blower motor doesn't work. I haven't looked into it yet, but the radio does. Check that out. Well, we'll turn that off before we get copywritten, but pretty neat. All my lights work. You probably won't be able to see the stuff up on the dash, but that's all right. Or the fenders, I mean. I really want to focus on enjoying my cars. Yeah, we've got some pretty cool stuff, but I don't drive them enough. I mean, once or twice a month, but I want to drive them more than that. Yeah, this thing isn't exactly economical, but it is a lot of fun to drive. And I like shifting it myself. Yeah, it's an automatic, but when I have control, it feels that much better. Them slowing down, that means we'll get to hammer on it, so that's cool. This car has a 276 sure grip, and it flies. I need to get this tach hooked up so I can see how many RPMs, but this thing, we're doing 55 right now, and it's just purring down the road. I'm really curious what it would get on mileage with a longer trip. Oh, it's hard not to love a 440, believe me. If you've never experienced one, you should, because the torque is just beautiful. And they spin up pretty quick. The odometer says 43,900. I would assume it's probably 140, but you never know. I don't think it's 40 though. We gotta go move some stuff so I can get this old girl inside. We'll pick you up then. Like I was saying, this is the museum. There's lots of cool things in here. As most of you know, the flagship, 65 Dodge D100, 318 poly, automatic, short bed, that we made ourselves. There's videos on this all over. There's the boat. There's my Monaco. And this truck, which I unfortunately didn't get to do a video on, but it's super, super cool. 64 W200, 383 4-speed. We made two trucks into one, and this thing is bitchin'. 50 Studebaker that we're going to be putting an Iron Duke and a 5-speed in one of these days. And just a whole bunch of parts and some other cool stuff. There's a 65 Bel Air back there and a 66 Chevrolet short van. Well guys, that's going to be it for now. If you like what we did, how about you tell your friends about the glory of Lambvinskis Garage and what you can do to your fine ride with very little money and a little bit of elbow grease. I am super happy with how this came out, but right now I just don't have the time to give it everything it needs, but soon enough we will be there. Anyways, that's all I got for now, so thank you for watching and have a nice day.